All right, so today you're going to finish up and learn about metric measurement conversions. Now, if you open this up in your foldable, notice it says follow the same steps to convert the measurements. So if I go back to, how to convert measurements, remember we said that we can use proportions. Find the conversion factor on our reference chart. Sometimes we need more than one. And then we either multiply or divide using the given factor. Now, remember, you can set up your proportion either the newer way when we look at it with measurement, or you can use a regular old proportion like we've been doing this whole time. So let's look at number one. It says, what is 70 millimeters in centimeters? What is 70 millimeters in centimeters? Well, if I look on my formula chart, which we're going to look at, ta-da. Okay, millimeters and centimeters. I know 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters. So you can do it either proportion. So for example, we're comparing millimeters with mm. So if I compared millimeters to centimeters, I know from my reference chart that 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters. 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters. They want to find, if there's 70 millimeters, how many centimeters would there be? So again, we do the exact same thing like we've been doing from the start. How do I go from 10 to 70? We times 7. So what should I multiply 1 by? Times 7. 7 centimeters. Now, if you want to do the other way to set up your chart, that's totally up to you. You'll still get the same answer. So if I wanted to, we'll look at another example using that. Okay? So let's look at number two. Number two, what is 147 grams in kilograms? Well, my conversion factor that I know is going to set, and this one I'm going to use the other technique, setting up a double T chart. We are going for this one, we're going from grams to kilograms. So grams to kilograms. Grams to kilograms. There we go. Now again, you can set it up either way, it doesn't matter. Okay? Again, the first one that we put is what we know. So I know, according to my reference chart, 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams. So 1,000 grams is 1 kilogram. I know that. Then we have to look and see, well, they want 147 grams. How many kilograms is that? So again, just like the other proportion table, we do the same thing. How am I going from 1,000 to 1? Well, in this case, we're dividing by 1,000. Because remember, any number divided by itself, you get that number. So we do the same thing here. We divide 147 divided by 1,000, and we'll get our answer. Now remember, in the previous video, we learned about dividing by a base 10. So for example, if I did 147 divided by 1,000, that's 1, 2, 3 zeros. So remember, every zero we kind of underline. That's how many spaces we move back in our problem. So we start where our decimal is. Remember, if it's a whole number, we start at the end. We move it 1, 2, 3 times. So 1, 2, 3 times. So I get my answer of 147 thousandths kilograms. And that makes sense, right? Most of the time we got to sit down and think, does that make sense with our problem? So for example, it does, because grams is smaller than kilograms. So my kilogram number shouldn't be a bigger number. That wouldn't make sense. So that's why you want to make sure that when you do the division or do the multiplying, you are following whether you move left or right. All right. The last one. Convert the following: 780 millimeters to meters. Millimeters to meters. Now, I don't have a straight conversion on my chart for millimeters to meters. It's not here. I don't see anything about millimeters to meters here. But I do have 10 millimeters is a centimeter, and 100 centimeters is 1 meter. So with that, I can create a conversion factor. So let's write that down. I know 1 centimeter is equal to 100. 1 meter. sorry about that. 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. That's from my chart. We also know that 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeters. So let's think about it. If I want to go from millimeters to meters, well, every single centimeter is 10 millimeters. So it's almost like just saying if I did 100 times 10, placeholder, and some of you already know that other factor we could use by multiplying by base 10. I find out that 1 meter is 100 centimeters or 1,000 millimeters. So this is my conversion factor. So that in itself, we're ready to go. So once I have that, I can do any proportion table I want. You can either do the double T chart or the regular proportion table we've been doing. It's up to you. I like for measurement to do the double T chart. Again, totally up to you. We're going from millimeters to meters. We know that 1 meter is 1,000 millimeters. That's the problem solving we just did. 1 meter is 1,000 millimeters. They want us to find if there's 780 millimeters, how many meters is that? So we got to do a little problem solving with that. So it's the same process just like we did with the last ones. How am I going from 1,000 to 1? We're dividing by 1,000 because any number divided by itself gets you just that number. So look at 780. How am I going from 780 to my mystery number? I have to divide it by 1,000. Now, if you want to sit there and do the division, you are absolutely more than welcome to. Right? But we know our trick for dividing by powers of 10. There's 3 zeros, so we're going to move to the left 3 spaces. So 780 are decimals at the end, and we move it 1, 2, 3 times because it's 3 zeros. Look back at our base 10. How does that make sense? Now, if you want me to very quickly, you don't have to write this part down, but just to check and prove it to you, inside out, 1,000 can't go into 7, can't go into 78, can't go into 780. Add a decimal. It can go to 7,800 7 times. Goes into 8,000 8 times. So notice we would get the exact same answer, right? We would get the exact same thing. I like using the technique knowing that it's a power of 10, but it's up to you. So 0 and 78 hundredths meters. All right.